of this concept of arrogance. There's a scholar named Abu Ali al-Jawzani. He said, النفس معجونة بالكبر والحرص والحسد ومن أراد الله تعالى هلاكه منع منه التواضع والنصيحة والقناعة وإذا أراد الله تعالى به خيرا لطف به في ذلك فإذا هاجت في نفسه نار الكبر أدركها التواضع مع نصرة الله تعالى وإذا هاجت نار الحسد في نفسه أدركتها النصيحة مع توفيق الله عز وجل وإذا هاجت في نفسه نار الحرص أدركتها القناعة مع عون الله عز وجل. It's a very important concept. He said that human beings sometimes have tendency to become arrogant and have pride. And he says that, and also jealousy, envy. And as I said before, all negative qualities in human being, negative qualities, negative attitude, negative behaviors, are interconnected. They're not separable. Each one of them lead to others. For example, if you ask yourself why somebody become jealous, have envy and jealousy. Envy, it is a feeling of entitlement. That I deserve this, he does not deserve it, she does not deserve it. That entitlement is arrogance. You say to Allah, you made a mistake, a'udhu billah, you put your ni'mah in the wrong place. You should have seen me. Me, I deserve it. The definition of it, تمني زوال نعمة الغير. You wish that Allah take a favor from someone, a blessing has given them, taken away from them. And that's a stem from arrogance, because this issue of entitlement. And he described it here in a most beautiful way. He said, if Allah wants to destroy somebody, the destruction being given to someone, here destruction in terms of the next life, that the person will not have anything but punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, if Allah did not give this person the ability to have humility, that person will do self-destruction. Self-destruction, absolutely self-destruction. Why? Because arrogance is an illusion that make a person does not see the limitations and the boundaries, and they go all the way until they crash. Just keep going until they crash. Because the arrogant person is a blind person. As you know that Allah says in the Quran, إنها لا تعمل الأبصار ولكن تعمل القلوب التي في الصدور. Allah said it's not that the eyes have become blind, but the hearts become blind. The blindness of the heart, it make a person does not see the truth, and they don't see the limitation of themselves, and they actually have confusion of enlarging things, misinterpreting things. If a blind person walk into a room and touch an elephant, part of an elephant, it might say this, misdescribing it. It doesn't have a whole picture. A blind person, in a spiritual sense, is a person does not see the whole picture. Is a person that shooting in the darks, shooting in the dark, and that a person really definitely gonna do self-destructions. Like a person who drive with no headlight in the dark night, and there's no street lights. Keep driving, eventually that person is going to crash on something. This is what arrogance does. Make a person go in tendency and in direction of self-destructions. He says, منع منه التواضع والنصيحة والقناعة. Three things. If a person be deprived from them, it leads to self-destructions. Humility, being content, and accepting advice. If a person doesn't have those three things, it's absolute self-destructions. Now, If Allah wants good for somebody, وَلَطَفَ بِهِ فِي ذَلِكَ, He give a person the ability to suppress the tendency of arrogance by exercising humility. What do I mean by that? Because you see, what the definition of arrogance? Do you remember? Definition. تعريف الكبر. Did we define it? Remember? What arrogance? Rejecting the truth and belittling people. The definition of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And therefore, a person does not see the truth or rejecting the truth. They see it. That's why it's one of the most beautiful dua of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the most beautiful dua is that Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'a. Allah see truth as truth and help us to follow it. وَأَرِنَا الْبَاطِلَ بَاطِلًا وَارْزُقْنَا اجْتِنَابَهُ. And let us see falsehood as falsehood. Because sometimes the distortion happens when a person does not see from their heart, they see with their eyes. Therefore, they become distorted in their vision. They see the truth, but they don't see it as truth. They see it as falsehood. And they see falsehood as truth. And there's a person that have that damage in their filtering system. You know, in communication called filtering. Because when you have a sender and a receiver, and they have a message, and they have noise and filtering system. That person, their filter system is filtering of arrogance. Therefore, they see things through the lenses of their arrogance. And therefore, they don't see truth. Not at all. And that's why this part of this spiritual discourse, the most important mission of a prophet is what? What is the mission of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Quran stated the 3 verses talking about the mission of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the mission of prophethood? رَبَّنَا وَبَعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. Allah send them a messenger. What the messenger does? يأتيهم عليهم آياتك وعلموا الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم. And sometimes tazkiyah, purification, come first. In some other, the 3 verses. One of them, tazkiyah, purification, come first as an objective. And then tazkiyah came as a means, process by which a person becomes closer to Allah. This purification, this tazkiyah, one of it is to get rid of the arrogance and to get rid of the blindness and the veil. And if you do that, then you'll be able to see things as they should be seen. As Imam al-Ghazali in his other book, Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, Deliverance from Error, he described the senses deceptions, the senses, the touch, the eyes, the ears. A person may see things, but they are not real. What's the example of that in Quran? Mithal min al-Quran. You see something, and you think it's real, it's not real. Do you know what it is? وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. The killing of Isa alayhi salam. That's good. Very, very good example. They have not crucified him or killed him, but they seem they have. It look like with other things. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ بِقِيعَةٍ يَحْسَبُهُ الظَّمْآنُ مَاءً حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَهُ لَمْ يَجِدْهُ شَيْئًا وَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ وَوَفَّاهُ حِسَابَهُ وَاللَّهُ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, those who disbelieve, their action, their deeds, like a mirage in the desert. A thirsty person will assume it's water. As he or she coming closer to it, they find it nothing. Every time they say maybe 1 mile, 3 miles, they go 3 miles. It's not the GPS says. It's a mirage. Huh? There's no river here. But it looks as a river, but the GPS says there's no river. The GPS tells you the truth, but your eyes lying to you. And therefore, the physical eyes can lead to distorted reality. The only real reality. يا أستاذ أجلس على الكرسي لو سمحت. عايزك تجلس على الكرسي. أجلس على الكرسي. استح في الكرسي. Yes, now. It is this idea of an illusion that is stemmed from missing we call it in Arabic basira. Basira, the inner sight. And the inner sight is ability to see oneself first and then to see the world around us. The failure of seeing oneself. وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون. Then you see in your own self. This is not only in the physical sense, knowing that you have a heart, a kidney, and so forth. Because some people only will go to the physical aspect of reflecting in human existence in the physical sense. But describing, understanding what are the issues that we have with ourselves. Why am I so arrogant? Why am I so self-centered? That reflecting in oneself is important because Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, says in this book, there's 2 types of mirrors you use. One of them physical mirrors. Where you go to the mirror. What do you do with the mirrors? When you go to the mirror, what do you go to the mirrors for? To see yourself. He said, but some people, they only care about the physical reflection they see in the mirror. But there's a spiritual reflections. You have to put the mirror. What mirrors for us from a spiritual sense? There's a Quran. Personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How far I am from the model and the examples. Allah described muttaqeen, righteous people in the Quran. Allah described the believers in the Quran. Allah described the muhsineen in the Quran. Am I one of those? Then he described the munafiqeen and the kafirin and all of the other categories of people. For the Quran is a mirror. You see yourself. Where do I fit? And as more that you become aware and conscious of our spiritual state, al-hal, spiritual says hal, then a person will be able to improve, to remove things, to correct things. But if a person have a wrong mirror, have you seen those mirrors that would help you to shave? Mirrors had 2 sides. One of them, it enlarges your face. You know what I mean? And one of them show you the real size or reasonable. But this one here is the arrogant mirrors. You see yourself bigger than you should. You don't know the reality of yourself. You know? Therefore, it's very important. And by the way, mirrors has a lot of symbolism. Even when you drive, they say the object is what? Closer than it appears. That is mirrors of death in general. That life is shorter than you think. Sometimes we have this illusion. We don't see things as should be being seen because of called hujub, veils. And until and unless you remove the veils, you will not be able to see. What he says here, I was looking at this last night and thought about it. قال فإذا حاجت في نفسه نار الكبر أدركها التواضع. That if this flame of arrogance start growing in him, then he put it down with humility, with the help of Allah. And then if a person then have this fire of jealousy and envies growing in them, then they remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is the one who gives, is the one who takes, an-nasiha, reminding themselves, advising oneself, or somebody advising us, with the help of Allah and the ability to fulfill this nasiha, this advice, by bringing down the fire of jealousy. And then what is hirs? Hirs is keen, very keen to hold in the material worlds. يقولون كلما كبر الإنسان كبر معه الحرص. They say in Arabic, as a person getting older, their attachments in material grow with them. It doesn't diminish. Subhanallah. You think that as a person becoming older, they become less attached to the material world. Have you heard of mid-age crisis? When a person all of a sudden starting driving very flashy cars, and starting acting like teenagers. That's hirs, A person becomes so. That's why I see people sometime in their 90s, and they don't leave power. Still holding into power in their 90s. Supposed to do some dhikr, do some i'tikaf, leave the power to somebody else. أترك السلطة لوحدها. But sometimes the power, this idea of hirs, people become obsessed with things. Al-qana'a is something very important in Arabic. There's a connection between al-qana'a wal-rida. Qana'a, to be satisfied with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and not have greed. Not to have greed. Qana'a is opposite of greed. Or hirs is greed, actually. But rida is higher level of satisfaction and acceptance beyond material world. Qana'a always is referred to material and power. Where rida has a spiritual dimension, that you accept, you become content with life in general. Content with life including that recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our Lord. We have no discomfort of accepting Allah's authority, sovereignty over us. He has sovereignty over us whether we like it or not. But when you accept it, رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا, that you accept Allah as our Lord. وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا, then you have this, being content being Muslims. You are happy being Muslims. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabiyyuna Rasul, Sayyidina Rasul. Then if a person also have this, been content that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is our Prophet, then you change your attitude in life, because then you live according to those three rida. You're content, you're not confused, you're not in danger of losing your faith or losing our faith. I want to quote another sheikh, who is Junaid al-Baghdadi. I'm skipping some of those because I want not to make too long class, because you have the English translation. وقال الجنيد التواضع عند أهل التوحيد تكبر، ولعل مراده أن المتواضع يثبت نفسه ثم يضعها، والموحد لا يثبت نفسه ولا يراها شيئا حتى يضعها ويرفعها. There's something here, very fine thing. If a person believes that they're humble, they're not humble. Listen to this very carefully. Listen to this carefully. If I cleaned the masjid, the foyer here, sweeping or mopping or cleaning, picking up something from there. If I'm doing this and in my head said, I'm the imam of the masjid, see, I'm cleaning I'm arrogant. Because in me believing that this is too little, they below me to clean the masjid. Get my point? You go to a family parties and you wash dishes. And you say, SubhanAllah, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a diplomat, I'm washing the dishes. To yourself, SubhanAllah. And sometimes you put in your Facebook, take my picture washing dishes. So people like say, wow, the sheikh washing dishes. Really? That's not humility, that's arrogance. Because you believe that is something little below you. If you don't have not believed that, you will not make a big deal about it. You should do it naturally. The minute that you think that it's not supposed to me, one of the things about Sheikh al-Sha'rawi, rahimahullah, is a great man, a great scholar. He went and gave a talk in Cairo University. And people just moved so much by his speech. They carried him to his car. They picked him up like, this is our Sheikh. But they say Sheikh al-Sha'rawi was going and said his driver pull over. And they pull over near a masjid. By the way, if we say a public bathroom in a masjid in Cairo or in Khartoum or in Karachi, you know what I'm talking about. He pulled over and Sheikh al-Sha'rawi went and cleaned the bathrooms. And his son was looking for him, finally cleaned. He said, why? He said, because when they picked me up, it came to my head, went to my head. And I want to break my nafs quickly. They said, don't do that. Because sometimes, I'm going to tell you, you do find yourself in situations and places where shaitan can tell you, you're important, you are this and that. And you need to push it quickly. Don't let it linger in your heart. If it lingers in your heart, tumbitu shajara, it becomes a tree. Kill the seed before it grows. Kill it. Otherwise, very dangerous. Very dangerous, to have this kind of feeling. Umar ibn Shabba, he told the story, very interesting story, of this issue of arrogant person, Allah humiliate the arrogance. قال كنت بمكة بين الصفا والمروة. He said, I was in Hajj or in Umrah and between Safa and Marwa, فرأيت رجلا راكبا بغلة وبين يده غلمان. He said, I saw a man riding on a mule or a donkey. And he says, and there's young people around him. And the people around him, they pushing people. Stay away. Get out of the way. Or man is coming. They push him, hitting people. He said, Umar rahimahullah, Imam Umar al-Shabba said, in his head, what is this guy is doing? This is a place supposed to be humble. It's supposed to be humble in Mecca. You riding near Safa al-Marwa and pushing people and have your young people beating people, pushing them so you can go. قال فدخلت بغداد. Then I went to Iraq. He said he went to Iraq. فكنت على الجسر. He was on the bridge. فإذا برجل حاف حاسر طويل الشعر. He said, I saw a man that barefoot, that his hair is not combed, he didn't comb his hair. فجعلت أنظر إليه وأتأمله. He said, I sat staring at him, looking at him, staring at him. فقال لي ما لك تنظر إلي? Why are you looking, staring at me? فقلت له شبهتك بالرجل رأيته بمكة. You look like a man I have seen in Mecca. لا إله إلا الله. Brother Rida, look at this. He says, شبهتك برجل رأيته في مكة. You look like a man I've seen in Mecca. ووصفت له الصفة, and I described the man to him. فقال أنا ذلك الرجل. I am the same man. فقلت ما فعل الله بك? What Allah did to you? فقال إني ترفعت في موضع يتواضع فيه الناس فوضعني الله حيث يترفع الناس. He said, I become arrogant in a place I'm supposed to be humble. And Allah humiliated me. Allah humiliated me in the place where people they see themselves as better. You know, they are in the place where they dignify themselves, now being humiliated. فَوَدَعَهُ اللَّهُ. That's why do not assume Allah does not see. It will happen even after a while. There's no arrogant man walk on this earth. Allah break them. And Allah break individuals and break people and nations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قالت قسمناها. القسم breaking something solid. In its peak, then Allah break it. For a person, be careful of being showing arrogance, because arrogance leads to destruction, no doubt about it. وأما عاد فاستكبروا في الأرض بغير الحق وقالوا من أشد منا قوة ولم يروا أن الله الذي خلقهم أشد منهم قوة. Ad says we are the most powerful people in the nation, in the world. No one have power than us, more powerful than us. Allah said, don't they see Allah, the one who created them, who made them, have more power than them. بشر الحافي, another scholar, يقول سلموا على أبناء الدنيا بترك السلام عليهم. يعني this has to be explained. He said those who are become so obsessed with dunya, don't give too much attention to them, because they want you to like that post. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like that tweet. If they brag about their car and say, look, I bought a car, $300,000, $500,000. Don't like that. Don't like it. Huh? Don't share it also, because some people share it as well. That's exactly what they want. They want people to share it. Actually, the Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, in Ihya, in one of the chapters here, he said that one of the scholars was walking, I think Junaid al-Baghdadi, rahimahullah, was walking in the street, and there's a young one of the students who was a hen, and they passed by a person has a gate of his home, had marbles and so, like, huge gate. And the young man started looking and he said, don't look at it. He said, why? He said, because that's what he wants. He wants people to say, wow, big gate. He said, don't do that, you know. I would like to end this with two statements. Or three statements. One of them is the statement of Abdullah ibn Mubarak. You know Abdullah ibn Mubarak, one of the great Muslim scholars, rahimahullah. فقال ودعا رجل لعبد الله بن مبارك فقال, somebody made dua for him. فقال أعطاك الله ما ترجوه. Said, may Allah give you whatever you hope for. فقال إن الرجاء يكون بعد المعرفة فأين المعرفة. He says, hoping, seeking what with Allah You come after knowing Allah. And I'm not there yet, knowing Him well. I want to know Him. I mean, in the path of knowing Him. You know, this concept of ma'rifah is a very important concept in the spiritual discourse. في علم السلوك يعني. We don't call Allah al-Arif. It's not the names of Allah. Allah al-Alim. لأن المعرفة علم بعد جهل. معرفة is to know things after you did not know them. You discover something. This ma'rifah that you are the state of knowing Allah that come with the fitrah. Every person, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Then our fitrah, the state of natural dispositions that we have, get tainted, covered, stained with sins and so forth, covered. If we have to rediscover it, to polish, to clean, keep cleaning. Then you come to discover again our state of fitrah, ma'rifah. But the more that you seek Allah, the more then knowing Allah has been revealed to us, unveiled to us. Because there's the ma'rifah of Allah through the book, Revelation, the Quran. And then there's a ma'rifah, experiential knowledge. Experiential knowledge. Ma'rifah بالتجربة. What do you mean by that? You take the Sharia, you apply it. You apply what Allah said about Himself. You come to know Allah, so what He says about Himself. But the more that you practice in worshiping Allah, you walk toward Allah, Allah walks toward us. إذا تقرب إليه شبرا باعا. If you walk toward Allah this much, you walk toward you this much. فإذا تقرب إلي باعا ذراعا تقربت إليه باعا. شبر ذراع. Hand length and then arm length. فإذا تقرب إلي, if you draw toward me, Allah said, if you walk toward Him an arm length, تقربت إليه باعا, I come toward them 2 arm lengths. فإذا أتاني مشيا, if you human being walk toward Allah, أتيته هرولة, Allah will run toward us. This is in the sense that Allah closed the gap. And that is what comes from وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهُ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. Get to know Allah, be conscious of Allah, and Allah will give you knowledge of Him. And that experiential knowledge happened from ibadah, the path of knowing Allah through the tahajjud, siyam, sadaqah, dhikr. Then you discover Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and more. For example, Allah says in the Quran, فَلَمَّا زَاقُوا أَزَاقَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم. When they turn away from Allah, Allah turn from them. Allah turn away from them. وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى. Those who seek guidance, Allah gives them the guidance. And then إِنَّهُمْ فِتَنٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى. For they believe in Allah, then Allah increases them in guidance. For you have to make the effort, seeking Allah. You know, Ibn Ata saying that the one being seek become the seeker. You seek Allah, and Allah wants us to draw near to Him. And they said there's a social gathering one time where Salman al-Farisi, you know Salman al-Farisi? I mentioned him 2 classes ago. Salman al-Farisi, radiallahu anhu, was a hakim, was a wise man. And his hikmah brought him to Islam. That's how he seeked Rasulullah. He went to Medina and waited for Rasulullah, as I said last 2 weeks ago. سلمان الفارسي رضي الله عنه قال وتفاخرت قريش عند سلمان الفارسي رضي الله عنه يوما. The people of Quraysh They start bragging, people have pride, and everyone mentioning where they come from and the lineage and so forth. فقال سلمان رضي الله عنه said لكني خلقت من نطفة قذرة ثم أعود جيفة منتنة ثم آتي الميزان فإن ثقل فأنا كريم وإن خف فأنا لئيم. سلمان الفارسي رضي الله عنه, although Rasul said Salman minna ala al-bayt, Rasul said Salman is one of my family. And instead of telling them, he could have said, all people of Quraysh, some people said, I'm from this tribe, or from this, and it's an illusion. This tribalism, I'm from Sudan. Somebody said, I'm from the north, from the south, from the west. كلكم من تراب. All of you from dust. What are you going to do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when somebody put in the grave? It's very interesting. In the same cemetery, this person from this tribe, this person from this tribe, this one from same cemetery. You don't create new cemetery for different tribes. The same dust, same dude that come and eat those bodies. What is this nonsense? It's an illusion. That's why this racism? Racism is really an idea of not knowing the essence of human being, creating a misunderstanding of the real essence of human being. فإنك بالروح لا بالجسد إنسان. It is the soul, the spirit that doesn't have color, doesn't have race. He said, they start bragging about, I'm from this tribe, from this tribe, from this tribe, from this household, this household. He said, but me, I'm telling you what my household look like, my lineage. خلقت من نطفة قذرة. I was created from the sperm and an egg. That's not that important, not significant. And then I become a stinking body. جيفة متنة. جيفة منتنة. جيفة منتنة أو نتنة. Then I will stand before Allah on the scale. When you watch TV, in the news, you see important people. Seriously. When a person on the screen, what under them you see? Usually, title. A title. But when all the cameras are off, it's 6 feet under. I've been on TV, by the way. Before you go to TV, you know what they do to you? They do makeup on you. Seriously. They take you to the green room, and they said, we have to do something with your face. I said, why? They said, because of the camera reflection and so forth. And they bring this powder, they do this to you, and all the kind of things. Makeup, they put the makeup on you. Even when you see us on TV, you don't see the real person because they make you look better. But when I go to my grave, what green room I have? La ilaha illallah. You put soil on somebody's face. You put dust on somebody's face. Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah. ثم آتي الميزان. He said, then I will stand before Allah and the scale being established. فإن ثقل, if my scales become heavier, فأنا كريم, I'm a noble. وإن خف فأنا لئيم. I have no nobility. If my scales, I'm in trouble. That's why in Quran Allah said, ذُقْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ يا شيخ Kazmi. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْكَرِيمُ. Taste it, you are the person who was aziz, have mighty power. the noble guy, is that praising him in that ayah? That person in the boya, أعوذ بالله من hellfire. ذُقْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْكَرِيمُ. You have to be careful, huh? You have to be careful. قالوا ما لنا لا نرى رجالا كنا نعدهم نعم يا شيخنا شيخ حسن من الأشرار اتخذناهم سخرين زاغت عنهم الأبصار. Those people of hellfire says, where are the people who used to make fun of and belittling and make mockery of them? Where are they? Are we not seeing them, or they're somewhere we couldn't see them? يا لطيف. وقال أبو بكر الصديق رضي الله عنه, Abu Bakr said, وجدنا الكرم في التقوى. We find nobility in being God conscious. والغنى في اليقين. Being rich, self-sufficient in certainty. والشرف في التواضع. And nobility and honor in being humble, in humility. You know, one of the most important things in raising children is what kind of child you want to have in terms of their attitude toward others, how much they know of who they are. You know, there's a lot of discussions in the issue of identity these days. But one of the most important aspects of identity, in my humble understanding, is the spiritual identity. What I mean by spiritual identity. Let us discover the essence of who we are and transfer that to our children. Our children see us and they learn from how we react or act, either respond to events or how do we respond to material world, how do we talking about ourselves, how much we're bragging about who we are and the car that we have and the home they have. Or they see us generous and they see us serving and see us humble. They learn this from us. They learn those virtues from us. And that's why the real discovery of oneself, if you take all the layers, male, female, black, white, doctors, engineers, teachers, whatever it is, when you take those layers and layers, what left is the essence of who we are at the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered this soul to come to the body. The day that there's the issue of fitrah. Because all of these things, that the essence of our existence is our soul. The other things, manifestations of our presence and physical presence in identifying ourselves in different places. But the essence of human being, يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. He didn't say أيها الدكتور, أيها الشيخ, أيها الإمام, come back to your Lord. يا أيتها النفس, نفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية وادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. For that the call that Allah called upon us, نفس مطمئنة. That's why he said يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة خلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. The nafs become many men and women. That a manifestation of nafs in the physical sense. But it's nafs wahida. I want to stop here. I told Brother Uwais Balti, I will cover the others. Did he say that to you guys? But بعض هذا من الحال يعني. It depends where you are. Because the Imam al-Ghazali talk in this coming pages of the حقيقة الكبر. What is really, how you define the reality of kibr and the danger of it. As he defined it, inshallah, we'll do the next week, that there's the two aspects of it, ظاهر وباطن. قال الكبر إن الكبر ينقسم إلى ظاهر وباطن. That it has two manifestations of it, outward and inward. فالباطن هو خلق في النفس والظاهر هو أعمال تصدر عن الجوارح. We'll talk about that inshallah next week. He said there's one of them is the state where you are, and the other one is the manifestation of it in actions. And everything in the spirituality, in the spiritual state, and the spiritual path, it begins with the state of the nafs. Then even the iman, الإيمان ما وقر في القلب, iman what does that penetrate the heart and then manifests itself in action. The limbs and the eyes and there's a process by which, by the way, you guard your state, because the inward and outward are connected. العين عينان, there's two eyes, the physical eye, the inner eye. أذنان, 2 ears, but 4 ears maybe. باطن وظاهر. Quran says so. This is my statement. قالوا سمعنا هم لا يسمعون. صم بكم عمي وهم لا يرجعون. They're deaf and dumb, and so they're physically, they have ears, physically they have eyes. لهم أعين إيش؟ لهم أعين لا يبصرون بها. They have eyes, they don't see with them. آذان لا يسمعون بها. And then لهم what? قلوب لا يفقهون بها. Therefore they have ears, they don't listen, they don't hear with them. They have eyes, they don't see with them. It meant in the spiritual sense. Any questions in these 2 minutes? And apologize, I did not follow what I said. Huh? You're ready for next week, inshallah. Yes. Yes.
You mentioned fitra. In regards to that, does everyone have a unique or different fitra from one another?
Fitra is one state of human being the same. كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Every human being was born in a state of goodness. Every human being born in the same fitra. Fitra is the essence of human existence. That all of us were born, no human being was born mix of evil and good. ما ليس هناك إنسان ولد فيه الخير والشر. Shar is learning behavior. All the wrong behavior is learned behavior. Not in the heart, is not in the fitra. إني خلقت عبادي حنفاء. حديث قدسي. فجاءتهم الشياطين فاجتلتهم عن دينهم. I have all my servants born in a state of believing in Allah. Then shayateen came them and distracted them from the right path. كالبهيمة تولد جمعاء حتى تكونوا أنتم فتجدعونها. Like an animal was born wholesome and then start marking, cutting their ears, make a mark on them. People scratch the fitra, stain the fitra, and cover the fitra. Either destroying it, or covering it, or staining it. For the discovering of fitra, it is going back to the origin. فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها. هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن عين لا تدمع ومن دعاء لا يستجاب. Oh Allah, bring comfort and peace to those who are suffering, our brothers and sisters around the world, our brothers and sisters in Palestine, our brothers and sisters in the Rohingya, the Uyghurs, and stop the war in Sudan, bring peace to that country. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us an example and model for others, and protect our family and our children, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, give shifa to those who are sick, forgive those who have passed away. اغفر لأمواتنا وأموات المسلمين يا رب العالمين. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله